in Atlanta last summer. Now on still rings from China, Sheng Liang, who recently celebrated his 23rd birthday.
But the greatest disappointment, in my opinion, from Atlanta was the performance of the Chinese men's team. We watched them prior to the games, getting ready for the games. There was no way they shouldn't have won. They were by far the best prepared, and they just didn't get the job done.
And the team that we're seeing here is really a team of virtual no-names.
Oh, I can't. Elfie, that is it in a nutshell right there.
I was just going to say, mental toughness is what this team has lacked in the past, and still.
That mistake is exactly what happened to Li Xiaoshuang. The same type of mental error.
It's so frustrating because this is a team that when they put it together, they have it all. Nobody should be able to touch them, but mistakes like this is why they lose team events.
Just shouldn't happen. That's all there is to it. Just shouldn't happen. I mean, when you can fly through the air like that so easily, you have young boys that can do this element without a problem. I don't even know what goes wrong here. He doesn't know what goes wrong. I guarantee it, his coach on the sideline is going, I can't believe it. What the heck was that?
And once again, a rings disaster for the Chinese team. Let's check the other scores now. Jan Kulescu, 9.6 on the horse.
And that was made possible, like we said, with that huge start value at 9.9.
Jason Gatson, 9.0 on the floor exercise, and the Romanian team takes a slight lead in the team standings. Now Jay Thornton of the U.S. on floor exercise.
And Tom, remember, because this is a team competition, we just saw the miss by the Chinese gymnast. They're able to throw out their lowest score. You got to remember that. If a team has 2 misses, then it becomes disastrous. This is one of Jay's stronger events. Very nicely done. That pass worth a lot of bonus. Very, very consistent performer on floor exercise. This is actually Jay's best event. I would say his highest start value of the competition. Typically somewhere around a 9.5. We'll have to see what he finishes up with here.
From the University of Iowa, they call Jay a hoss because he is among the bigger gymnasts, almost 5'10".
Just missed the Olympic team in Atlanta last summer, but he feels that this season he has been competing better than ever.
No major mistakes at all. Just the dismount. Here we go. Oh, a little bit of a tuck in the air, but a very solid routine.
Jay Thornton of the U.S. on floor exercise. Now to a 1996 Olympian from Romania, Marius Orzica on horse.
And you know, Tom, I personally feel that he does the most difficult gymnastics in the world on pommel horse. I know some would argue with me, but he has such a tremendous variety of skills. A lot of guys, like we saw Jan Kulescu did a very hard routine. Well, Orzica will also do a hard routine, but he'll show us a lot of different ways to get those bonus points. Once again, staying on that one pommel forever here. A little bit off, but he gets it back on. Pommel horse is all about balance. This is nice right here. Nice flare travel across the horse. This is what I mean with variety. Oh. But that's what happens, you know. He's not just trying to fulfill the requirements. He really, I know in his heart, he knows he's one of the best in the world on pommel horse. Has consistently been up there, and he's always pushing that envelope. And when you do, oh boy, and this is very unusual for this young man on pommel horse. That's too bad.
And the disappointment evident in his body language after his dismount.
That is not a position that he is accustomed to being in. 2 falls on the pommel horse. It's very unique.
Now on rings, Chen Zhenyu of China.
So once again, let's focus in on the positions of the strength elements. The judges are looking for exact positions. This should be completely level. Not bad, but a little bit high there. This one's a little bit better. Nice inverted cross.
Should be a little lower there.
A little bit lower, and he was just a little bit short on that hold. The strength part should be held 2 seconds on the still reins. I tell you, in warm-up, so he did the nicest dismount I've seen in a long time. Beautiful double laid-out somersault. Oh, just so easy. They'll take that one.
And that fanfare means we have reached the end of the first rotation. Each team will move to a different apparatus now. Let's catch you up on the scores from the routines just completed. Chen on rings, 9.35. Jay Thornton's floor exercise, 9.150. And Urzika, who had that disastrous pommel routine, only an 8.7. And the Dean of U.S. Gymnasts, John Roethlisberger, awaiting his first apparatus of the competition.
John has had a chronically sore shoulder for quite some time now, but nothing major here.
And after the first rotation, the Romanians have the lead. The Chinese second, the U.S. 7/10 out of first place. Welcome back to Cincinnati as we review the standings. And the first of 6 rotations is now complete. As the gymnasts get ready for the second rotation, Tim, a shaky start for the U.S. team, trying to build on the momentum of Atlanta and get that respect they desire.
Well, you know, they really did feel that they earned a lot of respect in Atlanta. They got together as a group last night and said, we've got to capitalize on this momentum. A little bit shaky, as you said, but not that bad of a job. The biggest mistake of the meet so far, though, is definitely Urzika on pommel horse. He's capable of getting a 9.7 on that event. When you come home with an 8.7, that hurts a lot.
And Elfie, the Chinese team, much like the country itself, a sleeping giant capable of dominating, but always finding a way to sort of mess it up, just like we saw in the first rotation.
Well, Tom, the history of China, when they hit, they win. When they miss, they literally give away titles, as we saw in the first event. A few misses, it's disappointing. It's frustrating because we're really never seeing the full potential of such a great team.
And as we start this second rotation, the U.S. will be competing on pommel horse. And here is Gary Dink.
And Tom, this is a potentially good event for Team USA. Their start value a little bit higher on pommel horse than some of the other events we'll see them on later today. Gary shows us his one pommel work. Now, he does it a little bit differently than we saw from the Romanians. He puts a circle in between, but it's a little bit of a loophole. He actually gets just about as much credit as we saw from the Romanians because of the way the routine is choreographed. Very good coaching. Oh, hits his leg there, keeps on going.
Gary Dink, who failed to make the U.S. Olympic team last year, watched opening ceremonies on television, had a big effect on him, and he's dedicated himself to making the team for Sydney. Chinese will be competing on vault. Here's Li Bo.
Remember, the men only get one shot at this event, just one vault.
He'll show us a vault maximum score. Best he can get is 9.4 on this vault. Pretty good, just that hop on the landing. You'll notice all day long a bunch of white lines on the mat. The gymnast needs to land basically in a box. Has to travel a specified distance and also land perfectly square in line with the horse. He meets all those requirements, no problem.
Li Bo's vault score, 9.10. Now John McGreedy, U.S. Olympian, in his first international meet since last summer's Olympic Games.
This is actually a tricky one for John. The one place where he gets a little bit uptight, sometimes doesn't do a good straight circle. Pommel horse right there, major struggle. Can't believe he actually stayed on. And once again, you're seeing that.
Form errors that he's just giving away to the judges.
This is a new routine for John. Having to add that extra pommel work to bring in those bonus points. But he held it together, and this is very, very important. Certainly not going to get a huge score at all, no question about that. But, you know, overall momentum as well.